I knew it was only a matter of time before we saw some articles like this being written by SJWs and members of the mainstream media. So this should be a really fun article to get into and tear apart. So we can go ahead and do that now. I just want you to keep in mind though that this is an article being written about Quentin Tarantino, who directed the Kill Bill movies and wrote the Kill Bill movies, which are some of the most pro-female movies that have come out in the past 20 years. Just keep that in mind, okay? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood takes the Sharon Tate murders and makes them about men. Quentin Tarantino's new movie reframes the brutal crime as a story about white male heroism that does a disservice both to Tate and the story. Also keep in mind that Quentin Tarantino directed pro-black movies like Django Unchained and things like that too. So yeah, but all of that's out the window now. All of that doesn't matter. We're just gonna ignore all the great movies that Quentin Tarantino has made in the past, and we're just gonna focus on this new Tarantino, this new version of him, where he apparently is now a toxic white male or something like that. I don't know. That's probably what they're saying about him. He's probably a sexist and all of that type of stuff. I mean, that's pretty much what they were implying about him. That's what that one journalist was implying about him at Cannes and stuff in regards to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But you know, the whole part where he was like, I reject your hypothesis or whatever. So anyway, leave it to Quentin Tarantino to make a story about the murder of Sharon Tate, a truly horrific real crime in which female cultists murder a famous pregnant woman that revolves around men, and in a story where Sharon Tate wasn't murdered. Spoiler, by the way, in case you haven't seen the movie yet. I probably should have said that, but yeah, she doesn't end up getting murdered in the movie, but that's a problem because it was white men that stopped the murder from happening. Ooh, white men. Ree! Acclaimed director Tarantino's 9th feature film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is allegedly about the murder of Tate, Margot Robbie, and 4 others, including hairstylist Jay Sebring, screenwriter, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, but the movie opens 6 months before this incident at the beginning of February 1969. The audience may be forgiven for forgetting about Tate's existence entirely, as Tarantino's self-indulgent 3-hour exploration of a past Los Angeles era meanders through Hollywood. Indeed, for some of the film, Tate and some Manson family girls, primarily Margaret Qualley and Dakota Fanning, are sidelined, seemingly to be real stars. Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt can do their thing. Tarantino frames his analysis of the clash between old and new Hollywood around the 1969 Tate murders because the memory of this particular crime still holds a place of outsized cultural importance. It was the moment the live and let live attitude towards the counterculture ended, when many of those in the film industry who saw themselves as more open and liberal discovered at heart that they were just as conservative and protectionist toward their own as any suit in Washington, D.C., but Once Upon a Time takes this opportunity and mostly squanders it, reframing the murders as a story about white male heroism that does a disservice both to Tate and the story Tarantino was ostensibly trying to explore. So are you gonna say then that like Inglourious Bastards did a disservice to Hitler because Quentin Tarantino had Brad Pitt murder Hitler in Inglourious Bastards? Is that what you're trying to say? Using that same logic it's ridiculous. It's nonsense. Basically, all Quentin Tarantino doing is retelling something that actually happened in a way that makes an entertaining story. And exploring kind of what would happen if things were different, if there was an alternative result to this type of thing that happened. That's basically all that he's doing here, and he's just exploring the what if. You know, that's kind of what storytelling's all about. It's exploring the what if. What if? That's how you begin a story. What if so-and-so did so-and-so? What if there was a hobbit that took a ring to Mount Doom? What if there was a farmer who becomes a space wizard? You know, that's how you begin stories, and that is how Quentin Tarantino is approaching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, just like he approaches all of his movies. But apparently that's a problem, and the whole reason that this is a problem is because Quentin Tarantino isn't writing the story in a woke way. He isn't trying to be woke with the story. He isn't going, what if I did this in a way that would show that I am a strong supporter of women, that I am a respecter of women. How can I do that? Oh, I could have Sharon Tate suddenly become a ninja at the end of the movie and completely kill all of these people that were trying to murder her. That would be good. I could get many points from Hollywood for doing that. That is not Tarantino's style. He doesn't care about being woke. He doesn't care about any of that. He just wants to explore his own version of a story and what would happen if something different happened. That's what he does. For long stretches, Tarantino focuses exclusively on Asian cowboy movie star Rick Dalton and his stunt double bodyman Cliff Booth, who the movie is about these dudes and kind of, them kind of aging out of old Hollywood and at the same time being part of the bridge of the old Hollywood and the new Hollywood. That's kind of the whole point of the movie. The movie isn't necessarily about the Sharon Tate murder or anything. Like, the movie isn't necessarily even about that. It's about these two dudes and them being experienced actors who are being lost in the time with the old Hollywood. That's basically what this movie is about. But apparently that's not good enough for this person, whoever wrote this article here. The camera spends lingering moments focusing on their faces, their graying stubble, the scars on their bodies. We see the men working. We see them navigating relationships with up-and-coming stars like James Stacey and Bruce Lee. We spend a rather absurd amount of time watching Booth drive maniacally through the streets of Los Angeles as he travels back and forth between the sets and Dalton's home. When Sharon Tate is finally allowed to speak, which it's funny how they write this in a way to make it sound like Quentin Tarantino was just trying to silence Margot Robbie, was just trying to make sure that Sharon Tate didn't talk at all in the movie. It's these people are so stupid and so ridiculous. Oh my goodness. A full hour into the film, we quickly lose sight of her again as the camera gets caught up in the world of bodies and a cacophony of cameo appearances and a restaging of famous Hollywood parties of the era. But Tarantino isn't interested in who Sharon Tate was anyway. All he cares about is what she represents. A sex symbol, a woman cut down in her prime, all hair and eyes and period costumes. Not that Robbie doesn't make a meal of it. So, oh my gosh. So you're basically saying, she's good at it, so it makes sense, but that's pretty much what's going on here. She's far too good an actress to be completely overlooked. This happens a lot. You also had there's a bunch of actors in this movie that had parts that were oh man, I'm trying to remember who's the dude that was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Shoot, why can't I think of his name suddenly? Hold on a second here. You have hold on, give me a second, everybody, give me a second, okay? Why can't I think of his name? Yeah, you have Al Pacino and Kurt Russell in this movie, and they didn't have big parts in this movie either. So, just because you have a really good actor or actress in your movie doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use them more than other people in the movie, That's not how movies work. So, anyway, Tarantino isn't interested in Tate because he's not interested in the new Hollywood she represents either. This film is made by a man whose favorite thing to do is name check Charles Bronson, and his love for men like Bronson is clear throughout the film. It speaks volumes that pits Booth as the character with the most screen time, despite being nominally second banana to DiCaprio's famous Dalton. Dalton is the fake, overly emotional, nervous wreck of an actor whose audiences are supposed to look down on. Booth is the real cowboy. The movie is about these two dudes. The movie is about Booth and Dalton. It's not even necessarily about Sharon Tate. And I don't think that he ever really said that this movie was about Sharon Tate. It's not necessarily about her. It's about these guys. But they're both white guys. And they're the main characters of the movie. And that is a problem in Hollywood now. You can't have a movie where you have two white dudes being the stars. That's just crazy. That is crazy. Your sexism and racism is really showing if you do that. Tarantino is obviously nostalgic for the past, where everyone in Hollywood partied together and cowboys were real. But while there may not be many cowboys in Beverly Hills anymore, mostly soy boys, In a lot of ways, Hollywood hasn't changed much. Really? Really? Have you ever looked at the actual climate of Hollywood? Like, yeah, it's changed a lot. It's changed a lot. Tarantino's casting choices also betray the confidence and convenient memory loss of a privileged white man. Tossed in the insane parade of A-list names like Maya Hawke, daughter of Tarantino's muse for his first decade of work, Uma Thurman. Hawke is only a year or so younger than her mother was when Tarantino cast Thurman in Pulp Fiction. In the end, Hollywood hasn't changed much at all if the daughter of the woman who accused Tarantino of nearly killing her on set is fighting for the chance to work with him. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're going after the guy who made Kill Bill, which, like I said, are some of the most pro-female movies that have come before this whole woke era of pro-female feminist movies and stuff. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? And I love how you don't mention that movie at all. You don't mention Kill Bill. You don't give any sort of lip service to Kill Bill at all in here. You don't mention the movie, not even once. So it just goes to show that you're just trying to bend a narrative because you're trying to be fake outraged by this movie. That's pretty much all that you're doing here. And I mean, that's, if you can just see right through this, it's so clear as day that that's exactly what you're doing here. You're fake outraged by this movie. You're just trying to pull some things in that don't exist. You're trying to be offended by things that aren't true. It makes sense though. You're just another SJW lunatic, obviously. Who's this written by? Annie Bundell. So anyway, this is ridiculous. This article is garbage, and you're just being fake outrage, which is the most annoying thing on the planet. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. This article is ridiculous, but I've been seeing a lot more of these coming out in regards to this movie and stuff. People are slowly starting to turn on Quentin Tarantino more and more. And it's because he doesn't adhere himself to the woke narrative of Hollywood. And it's really, really fascinating to watch. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then consider subscribing to the channel. And I will talk to you all very soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye.
Hey everyone, it's Jeremy from geeksandgamers.com, and if you're a fan of Geeks and Gamers, please go to our website, visit our merchandise store. We have t-shirts, hoodies, hats, beanies, tank tops, and in the very near future, we're going to have many more products for you to choose from. So thank you for the support. We appreciate it. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you later.